my car got fucking rear-ended bad by a truck driver. He was driving like a big Ram or something, like a big truck.
Big ram and rammed your ass.
Literally, he rammed me in his Ram.
You good, bro?
Episode 35. Marquise?
35?
36. Marquise. Ow. Marquise. It really hurts. Marquise, do you want me to tell you a story?
Oh, yeah, I love story time.
Let me tell you a story.
Okay.
Marquise,
Yes, Julian.
how long have you been driving? How long have you been driving cars?
Legally
in the
or
United States? Illegally and legally.
Oh, man.
Oh, wait.
You
God,
wait.
remember
Alright,
when
wait.
elementary teachers used to just do that? I don't know if your teachers did that, but at my school, every time they felt like the room was like loud or people were still talking, they'd be like, "I'll wait."
All right.
Just be like, "I'll
Oh,
wait."
wait.
Like
Yeah.
so cocky too. Like, "Oh, I'll wait. I get paid."
Mhm.
For this. I hated
Okay.
that, bro. Just
Oh,
no.
wait.
You will wait. You will wait for what? To die? Fuck.
Like 7, 8 years.
Oh, 7, 8 years you've been driving, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, back
And
in the day when I was, like,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
7, 8 years you've been on these roads. Now, how many accidents have you been in, Marquise?
Like, with me behind the wheel?
Yeah, actually, no. That's a good question. No, just in general. No, yeah. With the 7 and 8 years that you've been driving, how many times have you been in an accident?
None.
None. Well, I just got into an accident, Marquise. I know it's hard for you to believe,
Yeah.
but I recently was vehicularly assaulted. Another car just assaulted me.
Yeah.
They came from out of nowhere, and they damaged me and my surroundings. And I'm going to tell you about it.
Well, I'm ready to hear.
All right. Well, by the way, guys, this is the Scheuneman Show,
Scheuneman Show.
episode 36. Now, I was sitting at a stop.
Stoplight?
Yes, it was a stoplight. It was a stoplight, and I was turning right onto the highway. It was like a little exit going off onto Olentangy Freeway. And you know where I was on the way to, by the way? I was on the way to see your dumbass.
Oh, yeah, fuck you.
No, but I love you, Marquise, and I wanted to go see you. I think I needed the laptop, or I needed my balls fondled, or something. I needed to see you for some reason.
Some reason.
And now I was stopped. A couple cars in front of me. No cars behind me. And I was just sitting there, really I was just being a good boy.
Or were you now?
That's how I would explain
You
it.
sure you didn't just throw it in reverse and
No.
just slam it right in the back of the...
No. I was just sitting there. Foot on the brake, like one of God's soldiers, just doing the right thing.
All right.
Listening to music even. Enjoying my day. It was about
You
70
remember
degrees outside.
how the day was? Okay.
It was about 70 degrees
Sunny?
outside. It was a clear day.
Clear.
I was enjoying it. Earlier, I had been singing in my vehicle.
Do you remember exactly what song?
I sing a couple songs. I've been singing a lot of Louis Capaldi. I've been singing some Snot. I've been singing, Shorty Shorty. I've been singing a little bit of Matt Damon, a little bit of Monty Aesthetic. I've been singing a lot of shit.
Okay, my bad. All right.
So yeah, I remember it was a pretty good day. I was enjoying it.
All right.
I've been working earlier. I had stopped working to go see my good old buddy, old pal. And this is when everything changed. Everything. It all changed all at once. The day, my life, my sexuality, all of it changed.
He thinks he's a cucumber.
No, but listen.
Oh, okay.
I'm stopped. I'm stopped in a BMW. It's a small BMW. It's an old BMW. It doesn't hate. It's not a hater.
Sexy ass
Some would say.
BMW.
It's a nice. But I'm sitting there. There's no cars behind me. There's cars in front of me. And, I'm just waiting for the light to go and for my chance to get onto the highway. And then, all of a sudden, with no warning at all whatsoever, I just fucking bang. I go to sleep. I wake up. And all of a sudden, my glasses are off my face and my drink is spilled on my lap and there's papers everywhere. And my car's seems to be in danger, and I think I got knocked out for like a split second, literally, because I don't remember my face hitting the steering wheel. Spoiler alert. But everything's different. Then I blink, and then everything's different, and my car had been struck, and I felt the impact. It was traumatic. We're trying to be silly here. Listen. So I get hit by this automobile. I don't know what kind of car it is.
Do you know? Yeah.
And so the first thought I have is like, I need to stop my car from going forward into the car in front of me. But then I realize, oh wait, this whole time my foot had been on the brakes. What more can I do? Fucking slam on the brakes harder? No, I mean, that was already pressed to the floor. I was at a light. So that shows you, like, it just happened so quickly. My car got fucking rear-ended bad by a truck driver. He was driving like a big Ram or something, like a big truck.
Big Ram and rammed your ass.
Literally, he rammed me in his Ram. And at first I was like, what the fuck? What's going on? Like, from the impact, it was pretty hard. So I was like, there's no way my car is okay.
Yeah.
But like, that's how quick it happened. Was like, I remember thinking before anybody got out of the car, like, is my car okay? Or I should say, is Bob's car okay that he so graciously lent me while my car was in the repair shop?
Yeah.
And I mean, no, it wasn't. I'll stop being so slow about it. I'm sorry. This fucking truck just fucked me up, dude. Like, it slammed into the back. The fucking trunk just crumpled in on itself.
Can tell there's some impact.
Yeah, actually put a picture right of your face. Yeah. I felt mean. I love you, Marquise. I love you.
Are you going to send the picture?
Yeah. These will include pictures. And these are personal.
And why'd you grope my leg like that?
Well, I like to touch you, really. I told you my sexuality changed, so you might be seeing some differences.
Well, I thought you wanted to be a cucumber.
I never said that. Those were not my words. Fucking white male from the patriarchy stood up and talked about how I wanted to identify, which, I mean, if you guys saw this injustice, then feel free to cancel him or whatever. But, like, I was pretty fucked up. I was going to let it slide, but he brought it up again. And I'm not a cucumber. I'm actually a pickle.
My bad.
Yeah. So this car fucking smashes in the back. And, I mean, like I said, maybe the picture will pop up again. I'm sorry, Marquise. But, yeah, right there. So the car looks like that. It's fucked up, as you can see.
How many seconds, Julian?
How many seconds?
We're going to have this up.
Oh, I mean, you can take it down now.
All right.
This is fun. This is fun. Can you give me a bleep? Can I get a bleep?
Where do you want the bleep?
I'll show you. You'll know.
All right.
Your fucking mother. I fucking hate your stupid
You said a bleep. Nah.
It's going to be a bunch of bleeps. I just wanted to say you in the ass with a big purple
But I thought we could
dildo.
say fuck.
No, we can, but I just wanted to be like, beep, beep, beep. And, but like one word creeps in and then beep, 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 and then another word. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I got
like
you.
when somebody just loses it. What? Anyway. So the car looks like that. No, you already saw it. Whatever Marquise does is what they had. Who cares?
Yeah.
So the car's fucked up. I don't need to explain it because you've seen it. It's fucking, the back end's all crumpled in, and then I proceed to explain it. Yeah, so the back gets fucking smashed, and then obviously I get pushed forward into the vehicle in front of me, which was filled with a nice family. Dog. They had a dog.
Did you
Dog
pet the
died.
dog?
Dog died.
What?
No, it didn't die. It's fine. It was a husband and a wife. I don't know if they had children, but it was a husband and a wife and a dog, and they were nice to me.
What was the dog's name?
I think it was Stanley. I don't fucking know the dog's name. I don't know.
And we have Stanley.
Stanley, come in the fuck. No. But this is off to a great start. All right, so
All right,
car
so
gets crumpled in by this fucking truck, and then so everything's a mess in my car. I'm sitting there right after the accident, as everything came to a stop, and I'm like just kind of getting my wits about me. I look down and I see like my drink spilled over, and my phone and glasses like are on the passenger side floor, and so I'm like. I'm like stunned and like kind of in pain, but like it happened. Like you're kind of in shock. I don't want to. I hate to admit it, but I might have been because I was.
Did you feel
very
like
calm, but like also like what the fuck's going on? I know this is bad, but I'm just like I didn't feel really anything, like no emotion, no. I felt pain, but it hadn't hit me fully yet.
Yeah.
And so I go to reach down onto the passenger side floor to pick up my phone and my glasses. And as I'm going to reach, I catch out the corner of my eye. There's like blood dripping down from my face. Like
So you saw it literally like dripping?
blood was
like,
pouring out from right here. Now, my ADHD is almost taking over. I want to stop to say, if you're watching this, clearly you can see I look fine, especially from the camera that's far away.
How long ago?
There have been 3 to 4 days, no, at least 4 or maybe 5 days that I've been healing, and pictures will come up. You'll see what I looked like. But anyway, so I'm reaching down. I'm getting in the mood now. I'm in the podcast mood, dude.
Okay.
Bam. All right. So I'm reaching down to get the stuff on the passenger side floor. And I'm pulling it up, and out the corner of my eye, I catch, like, blood just pouring down from my, what looks like eyebrow. I got a far glimpse of it, so I was like, what? There's blood on me? What the fuck? Where'd that come from?
Yeah.
And so I go back to look. It's just fucking, like, dripping. Just blood just flowing from my eye. But I can see, so I'm like, all right, I'm bleeding from my eyeball, but it's okay, I think. And so I immediately am like, oh, fuck. I know I had a toilet paper roll in the car from when I had my cold.
Okay, yeah.
Because I would need to, like, blow my nose,
No.
So I'm looking for that toilet paper roll. I'm like, fuck, bro, I'm bleeding. Like, my dad taught me well. I need to put some pressure on this or something. I'm bleeding out my eye. And so I'm, like, looking for it frantically, and I find, like, a Chipotle napkin on the ground. And it doesn't look too crumpled up or used. So, fuck it. I grab that. Put it up against my eye. Pull it back. Soaked. Get it. I find another napkin of a different sort from some other fast food chain. Pick that up.
It's got like last week's fuck.
It's like a French fry on it and some ketchup. And
Yeah.
So I put it up against my wound. No. So yeah, I'm putting pressure on the wound, and I'm like, oh fuck, yeah, this is a cut.
This is a fucking cut, man.
And so I'm like, things are starting to kind of hurt now. Like it's kind of coming. Like slowly, I'm like, that tweaked my back a little bit, but the back came really the latest because like when it comes to whiplash and everything like that, it takes a second for your body to be like, oh shit, that was not right.
Yeah.
So really, I think what started hurting first was like, I mean, obviously the cut was like, I could tell I was cut. I felt that, and then I could feel that I had hit my head. Like, still, I mean, so many things to get into. So I'm like bleeding and shit. I'm putting pressure with this napkin. I'm like, fuck, dude. Like, this is not good. I'm bleeding. I fucking feel pain. The car is fucked up as I'm realizing now. I'm like, oh, I'm not driving away from this. And so, like, I'm putting pressure on everything. Fuck your mother. I'm putting pressure on everything, Edit that out or something. I don't know. I'm putting pressure on everything. I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck just happened? I can't believe it. And I look back and I see this big fucking truck behind me, 2 guys in the truck.
What? Yeah. Do you remember exactly what they were doing? Like right as you look back at that moment, like
I didn't see them coming up to hit me.
no, I
You
mean
have
like
to imagine.
after
I'm
the
just sitting
crash.
there and then boom. And then after the crash, I look back.
Yeah, you look back, you see them. Like were they just like sitting there, like looking at you?
Well, you got to
or, like-
remember, by the time I was kind of in shock. It was everything's so fuzzy, and so by the time I looked back to see who it was that was behind me or hit me, or even realized what was going on, they had already, they had probably looked at me already. They had probably put it together in their head what they just did, because I mean they got a heads up. I didn't, and so I think when I looked back, they were like getting their. I don't remember what they were doing.
Yeah.
I truly don't. Which is a little scary. And so I'm like, what the fuck? And immediately I was like, all right, well, this is my dad's car. He let me borrow.
Dude, I
felt so
wanted
bad,
that
dude.
car for so long too.
We love that car, and just a little backstory on it. Like, he's had that car for a long time, and ever since he got the car after that car, the BMW, which it was, has been used as like everybody's backup car. If Dad has a car that goes into the shop, then he'll use that car. If my car goes into the shop, he'll use that car. If Colin's cars rarely go into the shop where he needs something to drive, but if that happened, he would use it. So it's like everybody's just spare car. And Dad is like Bob, Dad, whatever, super nice for doing that.
Really, Bob.
And I appreciate it. And so I was like, fuck, dude, I feel terrible, but I got to make this call. Because number one, I don't know. I feel like he should be here because he's the owner of the car. Second of all, I don't know where all his paperwork is. I don't want to be fumbling around for that while I'm bleeding. And so my instinct was, all right, I'm going to call Bob. And then, so I called Bob. Bob! What? Get in here. Called him like that. And so I'm like sitting there, I'm talking to him, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting in the car. Well, everything's just thrown up, and then he goes to the fridge. Sit down. This is where you come into the story. Welcome, Bob, center stage.
Hello, Bob.
Marquise.
So I called Bob, and do you remember what the first thing I said to you, Bob?
Well, whenever you call me at work, it's always a circus.
Sometimes I'm just asking you how your day's going.
Yeah, sometimes. I don't remember. What did you say to me?
I think it must have been something like, or I probably was like, are you at work?
Yes.
And then you're at work. So let's just reenact the phone call. Hey, Dad, are you? Oh yeah, do the ringing.
What?
A couple more rings.
Hello.
Hey, so are you at work?
I am.
Well, I'm bleeding, and somebody just hit me in the BMW.
Are you okay?
You didn't ask if I was okay.
I think I did.
No, you did. No, yeah. So, yeah, I guess I'm fine. I feel like maybe you should come and help me out with this because it's your car.
Yeah, how bad?
That's the other thing. Didn't you just ask that? And I was like, I don't know. Yeah, I remember saying I don't know.
Okay. Is it drivable?
I don't think so.
I'm on my way.
And then Bob proceeds to, his lovely employees had allowed him to leave his occupation to come help his son out.
Yeah, my boss had to work a double.
I mean, sometimes bosses got to work, and it's bad if your boss isn't ready to throw down at work.
Shout out to Travis for working for me.
Yeah, shout out Travis. But yeah, so I do appreciate. Shout out Bob for leaving work and coming to help very quickly. Because, I mean, sometimes when you
Yeah,
need help,
he-
you can't even get a hold of the
He
person.
called me and I told him I was in the middle of a video game. I can't come yet.
Yeah, well, I'm going to get into that in a second.
Did you really, Mark?
No, but I'm going to bitch a little bit about people. But anyway, so you're on the way, and then this is when I'm sitting there kind of just putting pressure on my eye, like taking the whole situation in. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I feel bad for the car being damaged. I feel bad because I'm damaged. I'm annoyed. I had stuff to do. I'm just like, it's all hitting me at once, and I'm in pain. And so I'm just sitting there, and then out the corner of my eye again, I see dude that was in the truck that hit me, or at least one of them, because there was two of them. There was an older guy that was driving, I believe, and then there was a middle-aged, dumb-looking fat person that was in the passenger seat. And I say this because out the corner of my eye, I see them coming out from their car to, like, walking towards my car. And I'm like, oh, they're coming to say, hey, are you okay? Or, hey, I'm sorry. Or, hey, what's your insurance?
Meanwhile, you're sitting in the car.
I'm sitting there
bleeding.
like this with a napkin over my eye, blood on the other side of my hand, and then blood on the napkin. I'm sitting there looking out my window.
And what did those fellas do, Julian?
I'm looking at them coming from the side, like ready to talk. My window's down, ready to talk, and then they walk past me. They keep walking, and then they look at the car in front of me, look at my car, and then they start taking pictures. And I'm still just sitting there like, did this motherfucker really not just say nothing?
So they didn't offer to see how you were doing or offer to help stop the hemorrhaging out of your face?
I'm not typically one to spill beans or spoil a story, but I'll just tell you this. To this day, I don't know what their voice sounds like because we've never spoken. Not the guy in the passenger seat, not the guy that hit me. I didn't talk to neither one of them. Never asked for my information. Never asked if I was okay. Never asked my name. Never asked to fuck my mom. Bleep that.
Now, how was the condition of the?
I've been getting too comfortable with that joke. It just sounds so fucking crazy when you say it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, yeah, it was.
That's kind of cold-blooded.
Yeah, I thought it was fucked up, and I'm getting annoyed, just kind of watching them because they. Let me paint the picture a little bit. My car got hit from behind, which caused my car to crash into the car in front of me, and that car in front of me crashed into the car in front of them. So imagine all the cars that are involved in this incident, and then also imagine that my car absorbed enough kinetic energy to cause two other accidents. Correct?
Well, you didn't cause the accident.
Well, you know what I mean. Like my car struck a car, which made that car strike another
What if
car.
it was like that?
Another way of saying is the truck was flying.
Yeah, the truck was flying, and also we were stopped at a downhill spot. So he was flying and had momentum, and I would have heard screeching if he tried to stop at that fast.
Yeah.
I didn't hear no screeching.
He was pulling a fishing boat. I wonder what he had been doing all day.
Marquise, let's take a little break. When you go out fishing, do you usually just sit there and fish, or is there usually like some
I
camaraderie?
pissed off the boat too.
Well, I mean, sometimes when you're fishing,
Why do you need to pee?
Because I've been drinking a lot.
huh?
Pepsi Cola, Coca Cola, 7-Up, Sprite,
I mean, it
Mountain Dew.
could be a little preference in the cooler.
Maybe the folks were catching fish and having some of these.
Or
What's that, Julian?
or some
Water, lime margaritas.
or some
Sponsored
Budweisers.
the Scheuneman show.
Some Budweisers.
Yeah, no, they looked like Budweiser type folk. So yeah, they had a fish.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, but I mean, these guys, let me just put it this way. I could see certain people looking at these guys and thinking, like, maybe these people aren't super inclusive, or maybe these people might not agree with me politically, or maybe these people look at me as some, idiot. I don't know.
Well,
They didn't look
we
like
do
nice.
know one thing about them. They're not very good at first aid.
Well, yeah. Well, they're also not really empathetic.
Yeah.
They didn't. But we can get by that for a second. We can touch on these topics later. But they didn't say shit to me. The cars are crashed. Everything's fucked. And then Dad arrives, Bob, the Bobski, and what was the first thing you did? Because I mean, I was still kind of dazed.
Well, I came up to you to see if you were okay, of course, and I see your bloody hand and your bloody eyeball, and I say, "Did you get knocked out?"
Yeah, I didn't think I did at first, but now, like, I'm not just saying this to be dramatic or anything, but like, I think I might have, because I would think I would remember the force of hitting my face on the steering wheel, which I clearly did. Like, there's no other way I would get the injuries I got without hitting my head on the steering wheel.
Yeah,
And I don't remember that.
Yeah, you probably did get knocked out for a second or two.
It would have had to be for like a split second, because I even remember the car almost like it was fast, obviously, but it felt almost like it was going in slow motion. Like, I remember the car moving towards the car in front of me, because I had assured, safe distance. Right. And so I remember having the thought, how do I stop this? And then realizing, I mean, after it had already happened, I remember realizing, like, I couldn't have stopped that. I was already pressed on the brakes.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. But
you know what did stop it?
What, 2 other cars?
The back half of the car.
Oh, yeah. No, so I received all that force, and the reason I ask you what you were doing is because I don't actually know all of what you did when you arrived. Like,
well, I took a look at your head to see if how bad it was.
Was that the first thing you checked, or did you check the trunk?
No, it was you.
Okay. No, I'm not trying to.
And you'd already seen the EMTs at that point, right?
Well, that's putting it strong. They came up to me and they were like, "Oh, I forgot this part. See, it's foggy. It really is." They came up to me and they were like, I think it may have been the police that came up to me first, and they were like, "Oh, you're gonna need stitches. Let me have an EMT see you." And I was like, "Fuck." And then a couple minutes after that, an EMT walks by and he looks at me and he like sees that I have a napkin pressed over my eye, and he's like, "Can I see your cut, or can I see what's wrong or whatever?" And so I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And I show it to him. He's like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna need stitches. Do you want us to take you there?" And I was like, "My dad's on the way, so I think I'll just take a ride there." And the reason I say that is because I hate hospitals. I hate needles. I don't want stitches. I've never had stitches. I've had staples, but I've never had stitches.
So how do you know you don't like them?
I don't like needles. I don't like being... First, I just don't like being in a hospital. I don't like being somewhere where I know someone's going to do something to me that's going to make me feel uncomfortable. Like, I can take pain. I have a high pain tolerance, but it's the idea of, like, someone being like, "All right, I'm going to do this now. Oh, I'm doing it. Oh, that's a needle in your face. Oh, there's a thread. Oh," like, just knowing it's going to happen is not my thing.
Whose thing do you think it is?
I mean, some people handle it way better than others.
Well, that's true. That's true.
But I just was not looking forward to any of that. So plus I've heard ambulances are very expensive. So I was like, I'll get my own ride if I do go. Because I was still in denial about the whole thing. I didn't know how bad the cut was. I looked at it for a split second and immediately put pressure on it, because Bob here taught me well. So yeah, I told the EMT, I was like, "Yeah, I don't need you to take me to the hospital. If I need stitches, I'll go get stitches." And they're like, "Okay," and that's all they did. So they didn't like, "Oh, let me pad this for you," or "Oh, let me give you a bandage," or it was just, "Oh, you need stitches. Can we take you to get stitches? Or would you prefer a ride of your own?" I said, "I'll take a ride." And then they walked off. And then, so yeah, you were...
The cops were really cool. There's like 4 cruisers. So I when I found out you were basically, that you weren't dying in that moment, then I went up to the cops and talked to them for a minute. Tried to get the insurance info from the dude that hit you, and he said, "Go talk to the cops."
What did he sound like?
Well, I'm biased because I just saw you get hurt and my car get totaled, and I know that both things are going to be bad. So I was not in a good mood, um, and so I I wish he would have just said, "I've got fill in the blank insurance. I'll get you the number in just a second. The police have my card right now." But no, he just said, "Talk to the cops."
It makes you think maybe he's been in this situation before.
Well, it makes me think maybe he doesn't have insurance, is what it makes me think. But we'll see. Hopefully he does. But at any rate, he's not coming over for dinner anytime soon.
No, I'm not his biggest fan right now. So you only talk to the older guy and not the I think like long brown haired.
I talked to the guy in the overalls.
I think they were both wearing work
Yeah.
clothes. One of them had a buck knife sewn to the side of his jeans. That
Nice.
can paint a picture. Honestly, in one
Which
of the
there's
pictures,
nothing wrong with that if they're cool about things, but they weren't really very cool. So I don't know.
yeah, no, like I would feel a lot different about this whole situation if they had even said hello to me.
Well, and then
I don't even need you to like
after
kiss
that-
it, make it better.
yeah.
I'm just
that Asian couple, the lady was sitting by the side of the road, so I went up and asked her if she was doing okay.
and
And
they were great.
yeah, they were nice. Their car was toast too.
I didn't see their front.
The front was crushed.
I didn't. Yeah, so that's crazy to me because their back didn't look too
No,
bad.
but what happened is your car went under their bumper, and so it didn't do that much damage to the back of their car.
But it
it
lurched
did
them forward.
pushed them forward, and they smashed into the car in front of them, and it smashed in the front of their.
Did their airbags go off?
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, so it was like, and did you ever see the car in front of them?
No,
Didn't they like
they
leave?
must have driven off.
I remember hearing like a couple little things, like people mentioning someone just pulled off, and I knew it wasn't the guy who hit us because I could see him behind us. But
He did chuckle when he left, though.
yeah, we were gonna get to that. But yeah, so as he's leaving, I'm sure he's thinking, "Oh, look at my truck, completely fine, and look at all these cars, haha." And then he just pulls off to go fucking beat his wife or something.
Gee.
But I mean, this guy, I'm mad at this guy. I'm sorry, but I don't think this guy is a good person.
Well, accidents happen, but clearly he was going super fast and probably didn't put on the brakes. The BMW was the brakes.
Yeah, literally. I mean, I've been involved in like rear-ending accidents, and most of them felt like they were going fast when they hit us or hit me. This one felt like the fastest. I'll put it that way.
Well, the car is an accordion. It was hit hard.
Yeah,
What
I mean,
kind is it?
Huh?
What kind of
truck.
No, what kind of BMW was it?
Oh yeah, we were talking about.
It's an 01 330 Ci. So it's
330C. I was way off.
it's the old
M2.
That's
it's an
That's
E46 BMW for you aficionados. And had some miles on it, but you know how valuable that car was to
that car
us.
is a
I explained that you got that car and you loved it, and then you got other cars where you didn't need to drive that car, but every time one of us had a car in the shop, that was
Exactly.
the help. Which I haven't even began to stress about what's going to happen next time one of us. I mean, you might be good, but like when I need to have my car in the shop, I mean, I'm not trying to make this about me. I genuinely feel bad. I know it wasn't my fault, but I feel bad that your car was totaled in that situation.
Yeah.
So the car was fucked. And yeah, guy who hit us leaves laughing in his truck that works fine. We got towed. Did the car in front of me get towed?
Yeah.
And then
They got towed first, then us.
the guy in the very front probably got hit lightly, I'm assuming, because I think he left prematurely.
Yeah.
So
He was gone when I got.
yeah, I think he probably was out hitting swerves or something and just got the fuck out of there. But yeah. So now where we're at in the story is, Bob is helping move my stuff out of the car, getting me into his car giving everybody the information that's needed, and then we get in the car, and then Bob, I know you're my dad, but people know you as Bob. Bob insists that I go get stitches because, Bob is a retired nurse, so.
And there's a big gash in your eyelid.
How bad? Do you think it looked like a small cut, or
I would guess it probably would have gotten 6 or 7 stitches.
Well, and how about this?
Eyelid.
This is the time of the story where we can say a picture of my eye will be displayed here, and then maybe also here. Because we have a bunch of pictures of my eye as it progressively.
The pictures don't make it look that bad.
No, that's also true.
Julian, this isn't about you, bro.
No, this episode is 110% about me. No, but they don't do it justice.
They really don't.
I do have. I have 2 pictures
when I tried to move it open, the entire cut would go completely open.
Ooh.
Yeah. What did you see when that happened?
Ooh, you saw your brain.
See through my eyelid.
You saw your little ass head. Brain.
It didn't go through both sides of it. It just went through.
But almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we were positive that stitches were needed.
Well, there's no question stitches were needed.
Yeah.
It would just be
But look at it now.
That's the climax of the story. But so the cut's pretty shitty, and the pictures that we've shown. There's 2 pictures that we'll show that I'm about to talk about. There's one where it was kind of fresh when I had, spoiler alert, gotten first checked in to the hospital, and that one looks pretty gnarly because there's a way that a bad cut looks. It was
separated.
You can see it's separated, and it's almost like bloody, and so there's that picture, and then there's one picture we'll probably include that is like from later that night, and it's like a side view of it, and you can see my eye just like puffed up and like folded over itself and stuff. But like you said, the pictures don't really do it justice.
But you needed stitches.
So that's what we did.
Stitches are for bitches.
That's what I was trying to say. I was thinking of any excuse I could get out of this whole situation.
Yeah, but it was to no avail because.
Well, let's add some suspense to. Well, you decided to take me to Riverside.
Yeah, you were going whether you wanted to or not.
Yeah, and I knew how serious you were about getting me these stitches because you went to Riverside, which you already don't like that much. Can we disclose that?
We can say that.
It's kind of the competitor to where you used to work.
Exactly.
Right? And then you've also heard certain things about.
Regardless.
So we go to Riverside, and Dad kindly transports me and goes along with me for this.
Well, what was I going to do? Say hitchhike and drop you off?
Some parents would take you and drop you off, or say, "Oh, well, I got to get back to work. I call you an Uber. Just wait here."
There's money on the line.
I'm not kidding. I could see that happening with some people I know.
Well, at any rate, we went to the ER, and it wasn't hardly busy at all.
No. Right when we get there, it's about 7:00.
Yeah. Maybe 7:15.
Yeah. So we get there and we check in, go to the ER, and we go to the front desk. They ask us that information. Why are you here? What's your name? And then they give me.
You love those wristbands.
No way you still have that.
This wristband, and then they told me to sit down, and that someone will see me soon.
Yeah, not too long after that, maybe 10 minutes or so, they got us back to triage. Go back there, ask you a couple questions, and I was surprised that they didn't clean your wound in triage. I didn't expect them to just.
Explain to the listeners who don't know, what's triage?
Triage is where the staff will evaluate the extent of your injury or illness and the immediacy of which you need to be seen. So obviously someone that's having a heart attack is going to be seen before someone who has a stomach ache or needs some stitches. And that's as it should be. You want to have people that are on the verge of dying to be saved. And if other people have to wait for a little longer to get their service, that's understandable. We all want quick service, but it's not first come, first served in the ED. And most people understand that.
I do have one question. So, in triage, say you were, let's just say the triage that you, if you were running a triage or you were working and doing a triage or whatever, however you say it, would cleaning the wound that you're in for be part of that typical procedure?
Well, it would depend. I would think as long as you're sitting there and they're asking you questions, it would just take 2 seconds to clean it out.
But they didn't do that.
But they didn't do that.
They just asked me,
And I didn't say anything because I figured, well, you'll be seeing the doc soon for stitches, and he'll just clean it or she'll just clean it before they do the stitches. So no big deal.
whatever.
And they gave you an ice pack and some 4x4s to hold on it. So those are all the right things. And said, the doctor will be with you shortly. Yeah.
And then so they kind of said, all right, now just wait for the doctor to call you out in the ER waiting room.
So we returned to the ER waiting room.
And we're there.
For an hour?
An hour goes by. We're like, it's been a while. My head's I'm starting to get a headache.
Jeez.
And they don't want you
Another
to eat
hour
or drink anything.
No, they're like, you shouldn't have water. That's probably not a good thing. And then I asked Dad, like, hey, should I go get a snack? You're like, well, the doctor's going to see you soon. So typical procedure with a possible concussion is you don't eat or drink. So I don't eat or drink. Now it's 2 hours gone by.
What happened after 3 hours?
3 hours, I think we were just waiting there. There was a man by us that was
Coughing
vomiting
up.
in a bag.
Yeah, that was nice.
Every
People
5
coming in with
minutes.
broken bones and stuff. So
Broken bone. There was a girl who was going in like premature labor or something.
but it still, the ER was not full. There were seats available.
No, yeah. So we're in this
it's
half to 3/4 full ER waiting room.
So there's about maybe 20 people waiting.
4 hours goes by.
And no more people came in after that.
Yeah, at 4 hours I had gotten chips and a drink. And then
what happened
5
after
hours
5
go
hours?
by.
Still no service?
We're just like, this is kind of getting
Come on.
ridiculous.
It's midnight. You've been here 5 hours. You didn't get any service?
I got to go to work, and I'm like complaining to Dad. And he's like, well, we'll get seen soon. We've been here for a while. And then 6 hours goes by. And
No service yet?
just no service. We haven't been called. And honestly, since 3 hours, it's been like 2 other people got called in.
Yeah.
And then 7 hours goes by.
So it's like 1 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning, still no service?
Yeah.
What happened at 3 o'clock? I'll bet you got service then.
You'd think, but it's 3 a.m. We still haven't seen anybody. And then, I don't know how much we can get into this. I don't want to, and also I don't think we can. But then at about 3 a.m., Dad met an old acquaintance from work time, and you guys started talking, and we talked
Yeah, it was
together.
a former patient.
He saw a former patient that recognized him from his great work at Mount Carmel. And
That was
and then 4
still no service.
4 a.m. We start hearing at 4 a.m. that, oh yeah, there's a line of ambulances at the ER right now.
No.
They're moving everybody around. But not to cut you off, maybe this is what you were about to say, but from 1 to 3, we had been going to the bathroom, and you can see in the back where you're trying to get, where they'll pull you back to. You can see down those hallways.
And
Doesn't
nothing
look like anybody's
it looks
in there.
like it looks empty.
Empty.
There could have been people behind the curtains,
But nobody.
the hallway, you don't see anybody. There no staff, and there would be an hour or two where there wouldn't even be anybody sitting at the front desk.
Yeah, no, they just leave. But now let's rewind just a tad bit to 6.5 hours of waiting. This is when we start to get a little impatient, and my head's pounding at this point.
It was about 3:30.
Yeah. So, but what I wanted to say is at some point we thought, hey, we haven't seen a doctor. This cut probably should be cleaned.
So
Dad knows. Dad's a retired nurse. You know how to clean a cut.
So I go to the nursing staff and I say, hey, can I have some soap and water and a washcloth to clean my son's wound? And I got to say, we're complaining here about the service, but the staff was all very friendly and cooperative. They just didn't provide us any service. So no one was throwing any shade, and I know they were super busy, but nonetheless, we didn't get the work done we needed done. So I said, can I have some soap and water and a washcloth to clean out his wound? And she says, I can't leave to get you soap, but I'll try and get someone to get you some soap. But here's a washcloth, and if you want to clean his wound, you can go down to the public restroom and get soap and water.
Nasty.
So you use just cheap fucking.
So I did. I mean, he needed to get it cleaned out, so I went down to the restroom, soaped up the washcloth, brought it back.
You got a soaped ass, dirty ass eye.
No, it was clean, but it's just funny to think of going to the
just
public
saying.
restroom to do that. That's not the way they draw it up on in the tutorial on how to clean a wound.
You go into the room. She's like, "Yeah, I'll be back. I need to go to the bathroom, get the soap."
It's like we got a urinal pad
Oh.
No,
or a urinal cake.
don't exaggerate. Just
No, yeah.
so. But the truth of the matter is, we were sitting in the waiting room, and I'm doing nursing care in the waiting room.
And they barely allowed you to do that.
Yeah. So, it got to be like 4 o'clock, still nothing. And here's the problem. The problem is with an eyelid, because the skin is so thin, you only have a certain amount of time from when the cut happens to when you can't really suture it very effectively, and the risk of having a bad result and an infection goes way up. And we're right at that window, which is typically about 8 hours, and no service. And so we got past the time when the doc might have looked at it and said, "Oh, it's been too long now." And truthfully, it did get closed up pretty good.
Because I once again really didn't want stitches, so I was doing my best to, like, the whole time we're waiting, I was putting pressure on it until like the last hour when I decided to give it air. But like I was putting pressure or at least covering it for that whole time, just trying to.
And it did close.
So, and one more thing I wanted to say about the DIY nursing care that you had to deliver. When they gave us the materials to do the cleaning that you were going to do, they gave us something that I thought would be useful, and then you told me that would actually be horrible for.
Oh yeah.
They gave us alcohol wipes.
Yeah, alcohol wipes.
I was about to start. I was like, oh yeah, alcohol that's clean. I'll start rubbing on my eye.
Oh, you'd have gone ape shit because.
Well, I know it would hurt.
But here's the other reason why you don't want to use alcohol. Alcohol dries out the skin, and you don't want the skin dry. You want it to stay moist. So I'm not quite sure why she gave me alcohol wipes. Maybe she thought it'd just shut me up.
Or maybe, I mean,
because I was a little pissy with her.
Yeah, I mean, understandably, because we were
you've
all
been there
irritated
for like
and-
5 hours.
No, it was 7 hours.
7 hours.
It was actually at that time it was almost 8 hours. And I don't mind the waiting, but just how about you get seen by the doctor, find out if they're going to get stitches or not. And she keeps saying, "I'm sorry," and I said, "Look, I'm sorry doesn't do any good."
Bob hates, and I'm sorry.
Oh,
If it doesn't make sense to say I'm sorry, he really doesn't want it.
I said,
Actually, explain to the people your reasoning on why I'm sorry is not good.
well, it doesn't do any good. I mean, I'm sorry sort of makes her feel better that she apologized for not providing the service. That makes her feel better, maybe, hopefully, I don't know. But it sure doesn't do anything to solve the problem. And I said, it doesn't matter if you're sorry or not. He needs to get some service, and it's getting to the time where he can't get stitches. So I'm sorry isn't helpful. We've been here. I understand other people that have bigger problems, but there's not one doctor can see him for 30 seconds to see if he needs stitches or not. I'm sorry. Oh my God. Stop saying I'm sorry, because that does no good.
It's like Julian when he said, "I'm almost there," or
It's always just right around back to slap.
Oh,
Julian in the face.
boom. Right in the freaking heart.
We all know that Julian has a little bit of difficulty
He
arriving.
has a
to
delay,
locations
a
at
delay
the
in
right
time.
Have you ever heard that saying that someone lives their life to the beat of a different drummer?
I think it's a drum, but yeah, I would say that I might do that.
Yeah.
Now, there's a couple things. This time that Bob's going off on the nurse, understandably, and I kind of pushed him to do it a little bit. My head's pounding. Like I have a bad headache, and my eyes hurt, and it's swollen, and like I just don't feel good, and I'm tired, and I have work that should have been done earlier. So I really wanted to get out there. So I was kind of like saying, Dad, we waited this amount of time, let's go. And that also probably pushed you to want to.
Well, we'd both worked all day, been up all night, and both had to go to work all day the next day.
Yes.
So it was getting to the point where I was going to have to pull an all-nighter. And when you're, 87 years old, you can't pull all-nighters like you used to.
Bob, you're 93.
I can't even do all-nighters the way I used to. But, and here's the part where I do want to do a little bit of bitching. I like to bitch sometimes.
Yeah.
When you get hurt and you go through something that's a little scary or something that you don't like, and then you let people know on. Now it makes me. I'm not an attention whore, I swear, but I did post about it, and so it's very interesting to see who checks up on a friend, or who even checks up on a stranger. And there were some people that I know quite well that really didn't ask anything. And so to you guys that said, I mean, you're probably not even watching, but if you saw me hurt and then, you didn't even say hi, I mean, fuck you. It's, you should probably check up on people that don't look like they're having a great day. And so that was a little upsetting, seeing certain people just, Julian's at the hospital. Cool. I don't expect a whole fucking crowd of people to be like, oh, Julian, are you okay? Please, is there anything I can do for you? But like certain people that saw that and just didn't say anything, it was like, it was a little disappointing. But it was a learning experience.
Yeah.
I learned. It was a bit of cutting the grass, as they call it. Making sure you don't need anything in your yard make sure you don't have anything in your yard that you don't need. Now, Marquise is a good boy. I can't hate on him. Marquise was concerned about his good old friend, as I would be for you.
That sounds a little scary.
In a recent episode, you had said that I hold grudges.
Yeah.
And I think maybe I do. Maybe I'll talk to my therapist about that.
Hey, therapist, I have a subject for you.
So I really just...
Can we do a podcast with him?
With my therapist?
Yes.
I don't think that's legal.
No, you can't do it. Well,
we couldn't talk about any
What
of
if
the
we
spicy
what if
stuff.
we make a contract and have him sign it?
Well, there's no way we could...
They won't do it. Now, Marquise, if you get hung up and your mom and dad can't hook you up, you can call me. Well, you have called me. What am I saying?
This is a perfect... if you'd like to respond, but this is a perfect transition whenever you're ready.
No, you just confused me.
No, I didn't mean to confuse you, but like this is a perfect moment to just praise Bob.
Oh yeah, Bob is
I know you're not asking for it, but
move on.
I-
Move on.
no.
No one wants to hear that.
No, I just want to say, like, anybody who knows Bob or any one of my friends that have been around Bob, like, literally, they all know that he will look out for you whenever he realistically can. Now, don't take advantage of him. He doesn't like that. He'll probably, you
just gotta cuddle with him in his bed a couple of times.
If you cuddle with Bob, he'll always have your back. And that's one thing that we love about Bob and that we've learned from Bob is to have people that you care about have their back. Even if you don't necessarily care about them, but be a good person and have people's backs. And that's why I'm mad at you little fuckers for not responding.
Not having your back.
You didn't even ask me. But no, yeah. I did want to say that's like a thing. This is why everybody loves it's not why everybody loves Bob, but it's a part of it. He's a fucking OG. I've had friends at 4 a.m. be stranded 40 minutes away and get picked up by Bob. I've had friends.
You know, that was fun, that one. Don't need to go into that whole story.
I mean, we can talk about it. I don't care.
But it was so much fun. You know how I sometimes like to give a lecture.
Oh, yeah. It's just you have a free pass at that point.
Oh, and it was...
Somebody calls you at 4 a.m. Hey, my car broke down. Can you pick me up? Oh, where are you? 45 minutes away at least.
Yeah. and then you go pick them up. To me, that's like... That's like taking candy from a baby. Then I am going to sign up for and they both did get a
whole
lecture.
ride home.
A whole ride home.
Know.
And they were sleepy and wanted to go to sleep. I wouldn't let them go to sleep.
Oh, you're going to sleep. Oh, it would have been awesome if I could have slept in my bed.
Oh, yeah.
I already hear it. Right?
Oh, you know, if I get on a roll, you know that lecture can go.
See, that's what we need to find a perfect scenario where you can be on a roll lecturing one of us or somebody that's not even here, because that's the podcast gold.
All we gotta do is just go rub our balls on the porch or something. That look almost that I saw the look.
Yeah, no, there's a look that you get when you take Bob off, or when he senses that he can lecture you, and that look is guaranteed to just bring you joy. I mean, not to get too off track, but there's certain times where, like, you know, core lectures or like, you know, the top 3 lectures of all time. Some of those come to mind when we talk about this. Like, we might have even brought it up before, but like there's a time that always sticks out to me that like me, Marquise, and a new friend we had like just brought over to the house. We snuck out of the house to go into the backyard and smoke. And we shouldn't have been smoking or up at this hour. So once we got back into the house, I think you lectured. You sat us. You were like waiting for us on the inside.
Yeah, because you woke me up.
You were waiting for us, and then you sat us down at the kitchen table. And this was probably at like 2:30 in the morning, and you didn't get done lecturing us until it was like 4:30 in the morning.
It could have been.
Blew the high.
We think that you purposely just lectured us until we weren't high anymore. Which
I was just hot because I'm sure I had to work the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when your normal routine of 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, Dad, So yeah, I got in an accident. Shit's fucked up, and I'm healing up, and that's kind of the story as it is now, and everything I can say at the moment. But we're recovering. But this brings me on to my next subject. Number 1, why do you think hospitals are so bad right now? Because, not to be so ADHD, I just got a story last night. A close friend of mine just got sepsis. And do you want to explain for the audience?
That's when it's a whole body infection.
Like a toxicity in your blood, pretty much,
yeah.
Right? So my friend got sepsis, apparently. He went to the hospital, the ER. Do you want to guess how long he waited before he left?
Oh, he left with sepsis?
That's what he showed me with an IV and saying he had sepsis, and that's why he was there.
Oh, that's not a good idea. I mean, for real, that's not a good idea.
I don't believe it is, but this was last night, so maybe we should get on this. But
tell your friend to go back to the hospital.
What happens if you
can die from sepsis.
How does the process go?
The infection gets to and organs start shutting down.
Jeez, man.
That's not.
You know who I'm talking about?
No.
You're not in that group chat? Yes, you are. Just haven't checked it. All right. Well,
tell your friend to get back to the hospital.
I will, but he waited for like 6-7 hours.
Well, there's different degrees of it, but if did they put an IV in him? He was probably had IV antibiotics going, so he was getting treatment. Would be my guess.
Well, Actually, I think what happened was he got the IV, and they were giving him some sort of help, and then he was waiting to hear from a doctor if he did have sepsis or not. But they thought he did.
Oh,
Is this
Well,
person have multiple
you gotta wait. You
nicknames?
gotta wait. In that situation, you can't leave.
Bean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't leave. You got to stay.
Yeah. I mean,
But
yeah.
anyway.
But my point is, why the fuck is this happening? How come the
Well,
hospitals are so
a
bad right
there's
now?
a lot of reasons, and like most things, I mean, I'm not an expert in this, and I can't speak intelligently to the details of what's going on in any particular hospital. But these problems typically stem, at least from my opinion, they stem from money. It costs a lot to provide nursing care, any kind of care, but nursing care in this example, because staff costs money. You want trained, high-quality people, you got to pay them a decent amount of money because the job is very hard, especially in the emergency department. I mean, we're complaining about how long we had to wait, and that's a reasonable complaint. But the nurses and the rest of the staff there are dealing with this on a daily. And you saw who was there, and you can imagine at certain times people might get sideways and how much fun that would be.
Oh, yeah, no.
There's a reason why there's a security officer 10 feet away in the emergency department.
I hope people know. We understand the job is truly difficult and it's stressful. I'm more mad at the higher ups because I assume that's where the problem comes from.
Well, here's what the problem is, and it should be the higher ups' responsibility. So you have a job that's very difficult to do, very stressful to do, and requires a certain kind of person. You got to be really smart, and you've also got to have people skills. Those folks don't just grow on trees.
Can I just take a second to say, now you must admit that you are very smart and have people skills.
In certain areas,
Actually,
I am.
You don't
In
usually
certain
have
areas.
trouble admitting that anyway.
In certain areas, I have skills. That was my gift. I was good at that, and enjoyed it. So that's a bonus. Do what you love doing. But what happens is the job is really stressful, very difficult, and there's a high burnout rate. So it gets especially stressful if you don't have enough staff. So
There's not enough help.
what's happened over probably the past 10, 15 years especially, is nurses are being assigned more responsibility over techs. And so you'll have, instead of having 4 nurses to do a job that 4 nurses should do, you'll have 2 nurses and 2 techs. Well, you can't get the same quality of care, but it does cost a lot less. And so you put more responsibility on the nurses.
What does a tech do?
A tech can do some things, like a tech could have come and cleansed your wound.
Okay.
A tech could come and give you 4x4s.
Could you call them an assistant?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it makes it harder for the nurses because they have more responsibilities to take care of more people directly or indirectly. The other big thing is from nurses that I've talked to, my colleagues that worked through COVID, is that COVID just made everything 100 times worse.
Because didn't they change a bunch of rules?
Well, you're inundated with patients. You have all kinds of extra guidelines to do. Instead of taking 5 minutes to do a certain task, it now takes 20 minutes. It is what it is. It requires even more staff, and you had less staff. And so the burnout factor gets even greater, or just the frustration factor gets even greater, and they say, screw this, I don't need to make... hospital nurses are typically the best paid nurses. So nurses will say, well, I'm not going to put up with this nonsense. I'll take a cut in pay and go work in an office or go work at a CVS or something like that. And I understand it, because literally every nurse that I know, my colleagues and former colleagues, they'll say, be glad you're retired because it's horrible now. It's nothing like it used to be.
Well,
So
you don't have to talk about this if you don't want to, but isn't this one of the things that kind of pushed you to retire?
Well,
From nursing?
that's another whole story, but that's
It played a small part,
well,
at least.
it's a different story, but it's from the same mindset.
Yeah.
So it's hard on nurses now, and I feel bad for them. But again, that's the responsibility of the higher ups to hire and train and keep good quality nurses. Those freaking administrators are making millions, and I'm not exaggerating, making millions of dollars. Well, figure out some of these tough problems, earn that $1 million, chump, because that's, if you truly care, then that's what you're going to be doing. We don't want to hear, and nursing staff doesn't want to hear how valuable they are. If you think I'm valuable as a nurse, then you're going to staff appropriately, and you're going to provide me the help that we need. You have a right to hold my foot to the fire, to know what I know, and to work hard every day with a good attitude. And you also have a responsibility to not ask me to do more work than a reasonable nurse can do day after day after day after day after day, and then give me a cookie and think I'm going to say thank you. May I have another?
Yeah.
And you know, those are two of the big factors that contribute to why there's no staff in the ED. I talked to other friends about, hey, telling the story about what happened to us, and they said, oh yeah, it happens every day. I talked to,
and this is a relatively new thing that people are dealing with, these kind of long ass waits, or not getting the help they need.
What my colleagues who are working in hospitals, when I asked them about it, they said, "Oh yeah, that's common. That's just common. Yeah,
but it's a new common, is what I'm saying.
Newish common. I mean, people have always at times. I mean, because of the nature of emergency rooms, you can't predict what's going to happen completely. I mean, you have to staff appropriately, but when it's the norm is that you don't get service, then that would indicate to me, one, there's a problem, and you probably don't have enough staff, be it nursing staff or doctors or both.
Yeah. I mean, from the outside looking in, it seems like this is happening with a few different occupations, where it's like the higher up or the boss he or she wants to say, oh, we can't afford to hire these other people. And so they will just hire as little people as they possibly can to save money. They are saving money, but they make it seem like this is what they need to do to stay afloat.
Right.
And then they expect 3 people to do the job of 6 people.
Well, and it'd be one thing if the nursing or if the medical care was free, but then you'll get a bill for $1 billion when you got poor service. So
I was saying this while we were waiting. I mean, once again, I'm not super well versed in this area. Like, I'm not some fucking genius telling you how it is, but like, I hear people say, oh, we can't have free healthcare because do you see the waits that people have to go through in Canada, or do you see how messy it is when you go to get medical care in these places that do it for free? But it's like, okay, well, we already just waited 7 hours for stitches. How much different?
Actually, we waited longer and still didn't get the stitches.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's a big problem, and I don't have the answer. But if you paid me a few $1 million as an administrator, I might have a few ideas for you.
I don't know why nobody hired you as a fucking administrator, because you would have been giving lectures to everybody who needed lectures, and those people would pass those lectures down to other people.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that's how it works.
Well, you got good ideas, and you know what it's like in the trenches.
I did write a letter to the CEO and offered my services.
If you'd like any ideas on how to run your lovely hospital, please give me a call. And by the way, I mean, not to get too into the weeds, but like, we haven't received a bill for that stay, and if we do, that would piss me off so much more.
Yeah, well, let's not
charge us for the 4x4s.
Let's not borrow trouble.
No, I know, but it's just like, why would you charge us for that? And I've heard from people that we should expect a bill, and that just sounds insane to me.
Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
But and I've been waiting to say, like, it's happening with the hospitals, but like, I see it happening in places like retirement homes, where you get just nobody's getting hired. I mean, it happened in my job too, but that was fucking fast food. Like, my older job, like, nobody wanted to hire the amount of people that we needed. And then at retirement homes, I mean, I hear from people that work there that it's like they'll have somebody that's supposed to, look after the people staying there, serve them food, But then, oh wait, we're firing our dishwasher, so we're going to have you do the dishwashing and the jobs you were supposed to do, but you're getting paid the same. But it's fine. So it's like,
Happy birthday.
no, you happy birthday.
Yeah, birthday.
No, it's yeah, we could get very depressed talking about this. There's some big problems, and the solutions aren't easy.
It scares me because it seems like one of the solutions is people fixing their greed, and I don't see that ever happening.
It's yeah, it's tough when it's a very upside down world.
All right,
But enough of this.
now let's do something fun.
Exactly.
Let's.
Thank goodness you're alive. Thank goodness you have both eyes.
bro.
We're gonna change your tune in 2 seconds.
Oh no.
We're gonna scare Bob.
What?
Okay.
We're gonna tell him a story, a true story that I went through, and it's always fun for me because sometimes I'll have a crazy night, something will happen to me or something will happen around me, and I get to look forward to the next day when I get to tell my dad about it, and I get to see him get anxious and nervous
Got
and
someone
upset
pregnant.
in real time.
What?
So, calm down. Mom said she'd pay for it. No, but we do have a story. I have a story for you.
Is this going to make me mad?
I don't know if it'll make you mad, but it'll make you uncomfortable.
Oh, please do continue.
All right, so I'm gonna tell you a
Do
story
you think this is entertaining for your audience?
for sure. If they don't think this is entertaining, then they're not watching the right show. So this happened. I'm just to protect those that are innocent. Let's just say this happened in the last couple years. Okay. So have you ever been like picked up by someone, like you ask for a ride and you think like, oh,
I don't want to hear this story. I already don't want to
I
hear
think
it.
you do. So you ask for a ride, and then when they come to pick you up, you start realizing, I should have called someone else. Like either their car's fucked up, or they're fucked up, or it's just something about it is making you uncomfortable. You're like, I probably could have gotten home another way. So this one time, I needed to get home from my friend's house, and so an undisclosed human being got a call from me to come pick me up. And now at the time, it seemed like everything would be fine. I thought this person has a car, this person has a license. Why can't they pick me up and take me home at 2-3 in the morning? But what I didn't think about was that, well, they get there and I get in the car and we start pulling out of the parking lot, and pretty quickly I notice this person might be under the influence of alcohol.
Lovely.
And so I was a little
What could
nervous.
possibly go wrong?
I was a little nervous.
No.
So we're driving and I start noticing like, I think this guy is fucked up. And so me being a good citizen, I try to say, hey, you can just take me back, or how about we pull over, or just like let's figure this out, because I don't know if you should be driving right now. And so I start trying to do that. I start trying to be the the Bob in the situation, to give give out some wisdom on what we should do instead of what we're doing. I said we could be putting people at danger.
Yeah.
We could be putting ourselves at danger.
Yeah.
So I started trying to convince them like, hey, I'm a little freaked out. I've been through some shit recently, so how about you don't drive me home and we'll just figure something else out and we can chill back where I was. Now,
Or just pull over and get out of the car.
that person didn't agree with what I was saying.
Indeed.
Because
when people are drunk, usually they're so agreeable to good ideas.
they don't always have the best thoughts or
Really?
ideas. Yeah,
Huh.
I found that out. So
Oh, I'm just here to learn.
as I start telling them my thoughts and feelings on, us driving at this time, they start thinking, oh, Julian is nervous. I should play into this and make him more nervous.
What a great idea. Sounds like a party.
I didn't think so.
What do you think, Marquise? Doesn't that sound like fun?
Sounds like the fucking best time of your life.
I want us to be safe and others to be safe. So I'm trying to be the voice of wisdom. But they start doing things to make it more nerve-wracking for me
In their car?
in their car. This is not my car. So, for example, we'll get to a four-way stop, and they'll start going as though they're going straight, blow past the stop sign, and then do the widest U-turn that you could imagine.
Oh, that would never arouse
They do a
any
U-turn.
attention.
Yeah, no. So I'm like, dude, you can't drive like this. We're gonna get fucked up. And ha 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 ha, Julian's scared. Ah ha ha. It's funny. And then so they do the U-turn, but that was the way we needed to go. So they turn back around, whip it right next to the curb, just looking like you're gonna fucking fly off the road. Go back down, going that same way that we came from. Now this time when they get to the four-way stop, they start doing donuts in the intersection.
Are you for real?
I'm being 110% honest.
Just 100%. That's all you can be.
I'm saying, please stop, please slow down, please. None of it. The more I beg for them to stop the car, the more fun it is for them to scare the shit out of me. And so I'm like, oh my fucking God. I have my seatbelt on, I'm holding on the fucking handle. They're doing donuts in an intersection. And then they stop.
At 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, 3 o'clock in the morning.
But in Worthington or
Jeez.
some other city?
It was, let's just say Columbus area. And so I'm like, what the fuck? And then
I think the Columbus police would have probably found it really amusing.
I don't think they would have thought it was funny.
There's no way you could have gotten arrested. Or who knows why.
I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, there's nobody out on the road, but I'm still, like, I'm looking out for not only myself, but others. Let that be known to the public. But
What happened next?
I mean, they're like they'll take a left turn, and it's just screeching it, and like just fucking barely making it, and dude, like all of their moves are sporadic. Like it was at this point, it's one of those things you kind of had to be there for. But like they're just driving insane, like one of the most insane drives I've been on in my life, and I'm just terrified. Now you'd think it's coming to an end, but we start to get close to where I was being brought to, and there's a large parking lot around that area. And so right as I think we're about to drive in to safety, they take a right into the parking lot with big, nice, like, those big light poles and the parking lot lights that light up whole parking lots, like big poles with cinder around it. Yeah. You don't want to hit those.
No.
And then they start doing donuts and just going.
Where's all the cars in the parking lot?
It's in the middle of the night, so there are none. So it's an empty parking lot.
How is it empty if it's a apartment parking lot in the middle of the night?
No. It's a parking lot by the.
Oh.
Did I even say there were apartments?
No.
Maybe I just assumed that.
They were.
So it was like at a mall or something.
No, it wasn't at a mall.
It's just a parking lot.
Just a parking lot.
It's just a big parking lot.
Okay.
And there's these there's things that if we go off course, we will die, or get very damaged, or the
Right.
car.
It'll wreck the car.
At the very least.
Yeah.
And so they're fucking doing donuts, fucking screeching, and oh yeah, by the way, fucking just pulling the like it was an automatic car. They were just pulling it from fucking like drive to neutral to fucking reverse to like just moving the fucking stick just all around, thinking that that's like Tokyo Drift shit. And so we're just fucking screeching all over the place. Fucking, you can smell the burnt tires. And so like,
What the hell?
I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It was like their joyride. Like they were like, oh, we can scare the fuck out of Julian because he thinks he's in danger. I was in danger. You can't control everything that
That's
you
a
think you
spooky
can.
feeling to be. Yeah, I can imagine.
I was like, what the fuck? And like, I just remember finally having that car park and like crawling out of it and being like, what? Like it was insane because it was like,
And I know this person.
yeah, but I felt really dumb for getting in the car in the first place. But like I didn't know it was gonna be like that. I didn't know they were fucked up like that. Like it was all a big question mark. But once I got in the car, it felt like there was no way I could get out. And so I'm
jump out that damn.
Well, you can't once you're in the car and they're flying down the road.
exactly. And then every time you'd say, "Hey, you should seriously stop," that's like, "Oh, I should go faster." And then
Lovely.
you try and be silent, and they're still going fucking.
Yeah, that would be horrible. I'm glad you didn't die. And I'm
Well,
glad no one else died.
This is a hologram, and Julian passed away last night at 2:38 a.m.
This happened last night?
No, I was just making. This happened in the last 2 years sometime.
Hologram spin around.
Okay, well, it's a convincing hologram.
Oh, dude, did you know that Tupac and Biggie have done performances as holograms?
I've heard of that.
Yeah. They had a couple artists do that.
Do you, if you could see anybody in a hologram concert, who would you want to see?
Well, you know who I'm going to say.
Tell the people.
John Lennon.
I've always liked John Lennon, but as I've grown up, my opinion on him hasn't really changed. But I've learned that there are people that really hate him.
Well,
I can
there
kind of understand.
are parts of his personality that are not good. I love his music, though.
Yeah, I know. I've heard people make the argument that John Lennon was kind of coasting with the Beatles. I think he was a core part of the Beatles.
He and Paul were the core.
Shout out to Paul McCartney that we got to see live in Cincinnati.
I'll tell you what. No question, best concert I've ever seen. He was 70 years old when we saw him.
Yeah.
And he came out and did 3.5 hours without a break. Without a break. I mean, he'd talk a little bit between songs, but 3.5 hours solid.
Wardrobe.
He took his coat off. That was the wardrobe change.
Oh, that's what he said. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like, this is my wardrobe change for the. Wow. As soon as you said that, it was like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was freaking awesome. And his voice, I mean, it was just tight, everything. It was great. It was really great.
We got to go to more concerts together.
Yeah.
Because.
Well, Eminem was good too.
Eminem, that was. Shout out to Bob for taking me to.
More concerts in general.
I know, we really do. Eminem was fantastic. I wish I was older for both of those concerts. I wouldn't take anything back. I'm glad I went. But, like, number one, for Paul McCartney, being older, I would have not only been able to appreciate more of, like, not to be corny, but, like, how much it meant to you. Because, like, you had always wanted to see the Beatles.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much as close as you're ever going to get.
Right.
And he killed it. And also, I hadn't had as many concert experiences, so I wasn't able to stack it up. But I mean, that was an amazing concert. And then with Eminem, like, I know he performed certain songs that night that when I listen to those songs today, I'm like, oh, I wish I could hear this live. But I know he performed them.
Yeah.
So it's weird yeah, that was wild.
Or we saw MGK
Yeah.
when he
you
was
were-
MGK.
I forgot you were, yeah.
But that was like 2015.
Me and Marquise were recently talking about this. Like,
That was a cold ass night too. Waiting
Yeah.
out in line to go see that concert.
but MGK was a different person back then.
Oh yeah, he was jumping off of amps 20 feet in the air. I
And
mean,
like he still does that, but he's personally, he's
yeah.
kind of a dick now. Like,
right.
it's just
But
upsetting.
back then, that was a great concert too.
Oh, I mean, and that was when me and Marquise were like at the height of being fans of him. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever been into him more than we were around that night. Like,
That was an adventure.
yeah, that was we've. We gotta go see a concert all together, and then we'll report back for the next time you come on the show.
All right.
That would be fun.
Yeah, Marquise, how are you doing today? You haven't gotten the.
I'll be good. I'm just chilling, listening to your car crash.
How do you feel about the car crash?
Well, I feel like it's.
I just realized what the next segment is. Perfect, because Marquise needs to talk a little bit.
Nap time for Dad?
If you would like, would you like to have your segment conclude at this time?
We might need a nap too. What's up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm out.
So any parting words on?
Bye, Bob. Get the fuck out of here. So just
Fuck off.
Nothing in the bottle for you, Marquise.
Nothing in the
I
bottle.
wanted the Jolly Rancher.
He wants your Jolly Rancher. All right, Dad. I love you.
Love you
Thank
guys.
for listening to my story.
Love you.
Wrap this up.
No, we got. I'm gonna say a couple.
Dude,
more
I'm not
things, and
having
You're gonna walk off.
sex.
Yeah. Well, whose fault is that, Marquise?
You said wrap it up.
Okay. Yeah, go have some sex then.
Yeah.
And wrap it up before you do.
All right. That's for pussies.
Oh,
there it
now we
is.
got him. Now we got him.
now you want a lecture, don't you?
Dude, okay. Condoms, how much do you really need them? Because you can
100%.
but you can always
100%. When do you not need a condom?
when you can pull out.
Do you pull out when you use a condom, or do you nut inside with, or do you?
You nut inside the condom, but you wear the
While
freaking
inside-
condom.
How
While
about you just
inside
pay-
the-
how about you just pay the premium?
What
get
if
a
it
Plan B
breaks?
the next morning?
Oh, you know what people who don't you know what guys who don't use condoms are called? You know what they're called?
No, what? Dads.
Yeah, fathers.
But
Yeah.
I'm
You want a lecture about what it's like to be a father?
sure, but I just don't.
No, you don't.
But the
No, because you don't have
And
a
we got
feeling that.
we got the little part of Bob
feeling.
lecture.
No question, it's a better feeling. But how's that feeling of being a parent when you don't really want to be a parent? How's that feeling?
I wouldn't know. I've had
Okay, Bob.
That's-
Okay.
I rest my case.
False scenario. Say
I wouldn't
say,
know. I've had condomless sex many times, and
Say
I'm not a
Julian
father
comes
yet.
back and he's like, "Oops, shit happened. I was wearing protection, but it broke inside."
Well,
Then wear your condoms.
that happens so rarely.
Oh, say you mean kind of like people getting pregnant off
So
pre-cum?
you're gonna call that a rare baby?
No. I'm saying condoms almost never break unless you're just incredibly huge and
I mean,
Unless you're fucking like a
genetically
rabbit.
related to me, so I know that ain't so.
Marquise over. Yeah, he said you have a small dick, Marquise. Wait a second. Did you just say? Oh, hold on. You said what?
No, I threw you under the bus, not Marquise.
I know. I was trying to transition it. What the fuck are you talking about? Do I need to pull my dick out right now, live on the podcast?
No, I'm not interested in that.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I can't.
that
Here,
shit.
don't go
Get
into
the
the
fuck
weeds.
out of here.
Here's what
Julian.
I'm saying.
That what you just said
Wear
is
a
hitting me
freaking
in
condom.
waves. I'm like,
Wear a freaking condom. Wear a condom. Whenever you have sex, wear a condom.
all right.
Wear a condom.
You can. All right. We can conclude this lecture later. I know you're tired, but just one last thing. Imagine somebody watching right now is having sex without a condom, and they think that condoms are stupid, and they think you're stupid for saying what you're saying.
Well,
What do you say to them?
I'll say, enjoy parenthood. Make a lot of money, have a lot of time. Remember what your life was like before you were a parent, because you won't revisit that life until maybe 25 years later, and by that time you won't recognize it.
He hates me.
I love you. I'm just saying, the fact is,
Dad, if you didn't have condomless sex, you wouldn't be sitting here right now on a podcast.
no, you mean if my parents didn't have condomless sex?
No. If you didn't have
Oh,
condoms.
right. If I didn't, but you were planned. You were, full speed ahead. We're going to try to make some baby.
But I plan to pull out.
That's a whole different plan, and that's like, that works most of the time. Most of the time.
That seems like an okay to me.
No, that says most of the time. It just
Okay.
depends how you know.
I mean, a flight to California isn't that expensive.
Oh my God.
Just kidding. All right. All right.
All right.
Dad, we understand safe sex is good sex.
Just be happier.
Do I wear a condom when I receive fellatio?
Well, I don't know if you do or not. Not my business to know if you do or not. But if you're asking my opinion about whether or not
One time I was driving a car receiving fellatio, and then there was a semi truck, and you know how those are raised.
yeah, and they
It's
gave you
kinda-
the horns.
It was kind of awkward.
You pay a nickel, you take your chances.
Right during like 3 p.m.
Well, hey, it's nice to be loved.
Sometimes
isn't
it's
it?
just like that. you know?
Yeah, back in the day. But anyway,
Yeah. Wear a
safe
condom.
sex.
Safe sex.
Those
Safer
are your parting
sex.
words.
Yeah,
Safe sex.
exactly. Out.
Out. All right.
Bye, Bob.
Now, Marquise. We love you, Bob. Marquise, would you like to talk about your debut in Hollywood? Would you like to talk about your
My accident.
experience in the movies
My
on the big
accident.
screen?
My
Marquise.
accident experience.
Broke out into the big screen. Now,
So
let me say this again. Marquise made it into a movie.
What
What was that like?
So
What was that like,
Julian-
Marquise? Tell me about your
Julian got a
experience.
hookup with met a dude, and he promoted the brand. Scheuneman. You should go cop some, get you some nice, nice material. It's Italian made, and it's not so expensive, but it's not so cheap. But it's
Well,
worth
it's
a
priced
while.
that way for a reason.
And
We don't support child
for
labor. We
the
don't support bad
material,
materials,
It's so worth it. Okay, but look, we got this hookup, right? And so we're going to be extras in this movie. So this is first day. We go with another friend, me and Drew. I'm going to just sum it up for the first day.
All right.
We go, me, Drew, and another friend. We kind of just get an experience to it. Honestly, it's like,
It's a new thing for us.
yeah. So we're just checking it out. We got, free drink tickets. So we got...
Free
We
drinks
walked in.
for the celebrities.
Yeah, we got our little drinks, and then we got to be in the movie a little bit as an extra, little dance scene, little party scene. And
Marquise was twerking on my bed.
we were smoking gars up in that bit now, but you could smoke in there. That was really cool about it.
Smoke and drink.
So, our friend was very geeked with that too. He loved it, and I loved the scene. It seemed like Julian was intrigued with it.
We all had fun the first day
Something
of
I'd love to
shooting
do.
the movie. Yes.
Second day comes, not really planned for it. First day we were planned for it, but not
I
really
had
planned for this.
it. I brought Marquise in last second because
He's like, yo, you want to go do this second, you want to go do another shoot, basically. You want to go do another scene, And so we pull up there,
same
and
location. It's at a club.
but this time they're out. Okay, so the club, it's like you walk in, there's a bar, and then you can go down, and there's like a bathroom area. Then there's another part, but there's another bar inside. It's like
a whole
you could
new
buy
dance
this little
and a
room
new
out.
bar and everything.
Basically, it's like for like popping people who want to go buy this out with their friends, fam, whatever, and go turn up. And so they're outside of that, and they're doing a scene where they have people coming into the club. So they have two guards, or bouncers sitting outside the club, and they're checking people in. And this one guy is not supposed to be getting into the club, and he's trying to sneak in low key, but not. And they're like, "Yo, hold up, what are you doing?" But before that, so we were already in, like, just chilling for a second, and I was like, I kind of want to smoke because we didn't get to smoke last time. So I walk
We
up
brought
to
everything we needed to smoke this time.
I didn't get the shell though.
Not
so
inside, but we brought it in the car.
yeah. So I walk up to the director and I'm like, "Hey, is it cool if I go out there? Like, I won't have to go through. It's not really much to get back in, but like, I just wanted to make sure I was cool to get back in, And so we go out and like we're coming back in and they're shooting. And at this point, it doesn't really feel like they're shooting the scene. Like it felt real. Like they were. It
seemed like there was just a line of people.
Yeah, and so
Movie.
we're going through, and it was that dude's part where they're like, "Hey, you can't come in," and he's like, "Whoa, what?" And I go up, and I go to walk through, and dude's like, "Hey, like, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Man, I've been here," and like, low key like
You're like,
what,
bro, I've been here.
yeah,
And you
like
walk
what are you
past.
talking about, bro? Because like I had the vibe of like if someone tries to stop me, I'm be like, yo, like director told me to come in. What are you talking? Not so like that, but just like you know,
like that.
But yeah,
If somebody tries to ask me why the fuck I'm here,
yeah,
I'm gonna tell them why I'm here. 'Cause
Yeah.
Little backstory: people were giving us weird looks because I think we were the only white people in the room. But I mean, what's so weird about us being
but
there?
Look.
We got friends.
They started laughing and stuff like that, and I'm like, you know, like nonchalant, like, whoa, like, okay, whatever. So I just proceed to walk through. Julian just fucked himself up, but I proceed to walk through, and I go to roll my blunt, and the director comes up, and he's like, dude, like, everything is cool. Like, he's like, I hope everything is cool. Like, you know, we weren't trying to start anything with that, basically. And I'm like, yeah, bro, I didn't think anything of it, you know, and he's like, I really love that scene, though. Like, we're adding that. We're going to re-script it. We're going to put that in the movie. And I'm like, what? That's fucking sweet. Now,
Hold on,
usually
let me step in for 1 second. Because this is where, from my perspective, I was sitting at this bar in the back of the room. I didn't know they were shooting. I was waiting for you to get back with the shell to roll up this blunt. And then, so I just see you coming in, and I hear you say something. I didn't really hear what it was. And then you come up to the bar and start talking to me. And then from my perspective, the director just walks up behind you. He's like, bro, that was sick. We're using that. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I thought I understood, like, oh, they're about to put him in a scene, but I didn't know what happened. And actually, your explanation just now is the first time I heard the full story. I didn't know that you came in while they were shooting.
Yeah.
I thought some guy literally was just like, why are you here? I didn't know that it was during shooting.
I didn't know either. It didn't seem like that. But look, so I'm like, yeah, of course, like, that's geeked. And I'm not going to lie, like, I have stage fright at times. Like, I really noticed it in high school and stuff like that. Like, when I had to do the play or this little speech or something, I couldn't do it. Like, I was shaking like a bitch. And ever since then, it's been like, But, like, when I got into that, it just, like, my brain switched. Like, it just felt like this is work. Like, get this done. Like, this is it. Not like, oh, I'm going to blow up. Like, mama, I made it type deal. But, like, dude, like, don't be a pussy. Get this done with. You know, you'll feel good. Like, you just did something major in your fucking life.
Plus,
like,
it was one of those things where you didn't even have the time to worry about it.
Yeah, I
It was just
didn't.
like,
Yeah.
oh, we're just gonna do this, and then who cares? There's no expectations, and
But
you just got to do it.
my line, it was, man, I've been here.
Man, I've been here.
And they're like, man, what do you mean I've been here is actually how it went. My bad. Man, what do you mean I've been here? And so it would be like the first people would go through, they're like, oh, cool, blah, blah, blah. Second guy would come up and be like, hey, I'm trying to get in. They're like, nah, you got to wait. Like, there's other people in line. Let them come up first. And so the other people would go, and then I would come in, and I'd walk in with, like, my head to the ground low-key, like, trying to rush myself in through. Like, I've already been there, right? And dude would, like, push on my shoulder, like, kind of push me back and, like, stop me in my tracks and be like, but, like, you're going to let this guy in? And I'd be like, man, I've been here. Like, what do you mean I've been here? And then just walk off.
So
And
the guy that's trying to get in, but the bouncer stops. He stops you and is like, bro, what the fuck? And then he talks to the bouncer. You're going to let this random dude in here, but not me? And then you're like, bro, bitch, I've been here.
Yeah.
And then
It
so...
was a great experience. I had a great-ass time.
Hang up on the bitch. I mean, person, whoever it is. So that was really cool getting to see my brother in arms get to pop out in the limelight, pop up in the camera, get his little scene. I thought that was cool.
No, that was fucking amazing. Thank
was-
you. Shout out to them. I don't even know, like, the whole crew, but if I knew all their
I don't
names
know
and
what we
everything.
can say about it. Because there's a movie. I know we
What?
can say this. There's a movie that's being made 100% in color.
Holy shit, I just told my whole scene. I can't even.
No, you're fine. That's fine. That has. You didn't say the name of the movie. You didn't say who's making. You didn't say what it's about. You just said you were in a club trying to get in. That's fine.
Are you sure?
I'm positive, dude. It's fine.
All right.
Because think about it. They have on the Instagram for that movie. Like, there's an Instagram for the movie itself.
Don't spill any beans.
I know. And they'll post, like, oh, we're shooting today. Here's where we're shooting. And it's pretty much everything you're saying.
Mm.
You didn't give any key details. Like, I know what the movie's about, but I'm not about to say it. That would be bad. But there's a movie being made in Columbus by all Columbus people, and when we can talk about it, we certainly will, because I do want to say right now, thank you to that group of people, because
Sincerely, thank you, man.
it's really awesome. You're making art in our city and where you grew up, where we grew up. You're giving people opportunities to be a part of that. And also, like, with this movie, they were getting wardrobe together and they wanted to use Columbus brands. And I mean, if you can put two and two together, they picked the Columbus brand, and that's a huge honor, and it's a big milestone to me. I don't care if it's a fucking Avengers movie or a movie being made in my hometown. That's fucking awesome to me. And the fact that they thought, hey, let's use people from our home, from this place to do it. That's sick. And so, I feel like I can comfortably say that they ended up going with us. I believe there's some other people involved, but a lot of our clothes can be seen in this movie that'll be coming out in the near future. And one of the stars is dripped up in it. So that was awesome. And
Really
we
awesome.
were there to be a part of it as much as we could be. And some things came of that, but that's for the future. But yeah, we were there while the movie was being shot. Marquise got to be in a scene. I was like, that's fucking awesome. By the way, back to the whole stage fright kind of thing. Like, I don't know if I would have been able to do what you did. Like, I know it's not like this huge thing, but like, that would have made me nervous when I'm technically in it too, but way more. Like, I don't have a line. I'm just an extra. Like, there's a scene where there's like a lineup of people and I'm in that lineup, but even in that lineup, I was like, oh, bro, they're going to say something to me and then I'm going to have to think of something on spot, or what am I doing? Like, it's kind of nerve wracking to do stuff like that. And you did it. And by the way, Marquise, he killed it on the second take. The first take was great. And then the second take is what they literally were like, oh, that's so good, we're sticking with that. And then you did other takes for the rest of the people to get their take, but you got it right on your second try. Yeah. And the first try would have been fine, but you killed it with the second try, which was just cool. And I will say, unfortunately, I don't think this was captured in the scene, but in my part of being like an extra, because we were like in the club scene, maybe in the background, but like there was a part where they wanted us to be all lined up, and that's where I was in that line, and I was like, is there anything that I feel comfortable doing to like be, like creative about it? I don't want to spill any beans. There were certain things that we're asking people to do where I was like, okay, what should I do? And like I was like practically at the end of this line, and they stopped the two people in front of me, and they were like doing this little impromptu scene. And so I was like, okay, I can't just stand here. I got to do something. And so I thought it would be cool, and I thought it would get seen, but I don't think they caught it on camera. As the bouncers like stopping these two people, I'm like in the background, like trying to look pissed off, like, what the fuck?
I've been waiting here for a minute.
Exactly. And then as they're talking to them, I was like, oh, this would be funny. And so I fucking kind of sneak up behind them and run in through, like I go around them and run in between them, like almost like I'm this kid that's like sneaking in. And then when they played the scene back, I don't even think they got me, like, because like it was like, say the guy was like standing up against the wall like this.
Yeah.
Say the guy was standing up against the wall like this. I like ran under his arm like that, like, oh, fuck, I gotta get in this club. And I was like, that's kind of fun. That's a nice little thing. And then really, it was funny because when they played the scene back to everybody, because they'll like do the scene and they'll be like, all right, everybody want to see? And then they'll play it back. I was at the end of the line, so it was like the end of the scene. And they stopped playing it before I even did that. All they saw me do was in the background. I was like, But
Oh yeah, so it really made it look like you're like waiting there for.
well, I made myself look annoyed, but then my whole the thing that I thought, oh, this is my little cool addition to it. It didn't even get seen, and if
Yeah.
it did get caught up on camera, then the people watching at
That
the,
is not the person calling.
it probably is.
Sorry.
No, it's not.
Oh,
All right,
cutting that out.
All right, well, damn, we're at an hour 45.
yeah, June.
This has been episode 36.
We gotta do.
Scheuneman Show. My back hurts.
We gotta do a fast podcast. Try to get like talk fast in a short amount of time. See if we could do a full podcast like that.
Like a 30-minute podcast.
Yeah,
Talk about
just
the
like-
same amount of stuff.
But can't stop. Don't just blah blah blah. blah
We're
like
gonna do like 2 minutes of that right now.
I mean, we could try it.
I
Let's
have
go.
something. Okay.
All right.
Just go with it. All right.
All right.
So, bro, I was watching this thing on the Netflix show.
yeah?
I was watching Netflix and I saw this
Okay.
show. It's called The Watcher. It's really fucking
Watcher?
good, dude. You should watch it.
Yeah, I really. I mean, like, what's it about? Like you said on Netflix. I mean, like, is there anything else that it streams on, or?
No, I think it's just on Netflix. I think, dude, it's really cool because it's like kind of based on a true story, but they add some like creative little things to it that it's like it's really exciting and it's like pulled me in. I didn't expect the show to be good, but it was actually pretty good, and so I was like, whoa. And then it's a creepy story too. You should check out The Watcher. It's on Netflix. I don't think it's on anything else. Not Hulu, not Amazon, not HBO Max. It's just on Netflix.
Oh,
Check it out.
oh
It's called The
shit!
Watcher.
Oh shit! Speaking of Netflix and stuff, did you know on Hulu like it's $80 a month to get the live version, but like it's only like $15-20 a month just to have the streaming version, which is kind of weird because you can watch all these movies and stuff like that, but just to watch live television it costs like a whole fucking $60 more.
It's actually crazy that you say that because not only is that a crazy fucking price, $80 a month. Like what the fuck? That's like I have like 5 streaming services and they're all like not even $80 together. But also, did you know that with that $80 package, the only way that you can watch the certain show with that is with that $80 package, and you can't watch the new South Park seasons if you don't have the $80
Well,
package.
you're gonna hate me, bro, because I've never actually gotten into South Park. I actually watched Robot Chicken, Family Guy, and all that stuff. But like the South Park, I don't know. I think I was just too young. I didn't really understand. I just didn't really get into it.
Well, we talked about this the other day when we were about to go eat Mongolian barbecue with Colin, and I was telling you we should all watch South Park together because it's a really fucking good show and it's like literally a masterpiece. The guys Matt and Trey, they made it together. They're friends and they're fucking genius. They make a lot of shit and it's really funny. But yeah, we should definitely watch South Park, and they're making like 5 more movies and like 20 new seasons. Is actually insane. They got paid like $1 billion to do it.
As always,
Robot Chicken always scared me as a kid. I thought it was really weird, but it was actually funny as well. But if it ever came on like late at night, I wouldn't want to watch it because it would kind of scare me.
as always, love you.
Love you. Ciao.